Hey everyone, thank you for joining me for another YouTube video. This is twice in a week. I feel like I'm on a roll right now. I'm very excited to just continue to bring more content as it comes. So hopefully you enjoy this video. Feel free to leave a like, a comment, and of course subscribe if you want. Again, I'm that kind of channel. I don't like to put pressure on people, so just feel free to enjoy either way. But you already know, so I'm not even going to beat around the bush and come up with some weird introduction or anything like that. You already know from seeing the title of the video that we're going to talk about my top picks for Nintendo Switch 2 or Nintendo Switch Pro or Switch Swap, whatever they decide to call it, Switch Up. I don't know what they decide to call it, but whatever Nintendo's next console is, which is highly being rumored to be coming out by the end of next year, the top 5 games that I want to see come out for it at or around launch. And I think that this is going to be a very interesting video to hear your thoughts on it. And I'm also probably going to lengthen this video out a little bit and discuss some other games that people think should come out and probably why they're not. So let's go ahead and get into this video. Now, my number one pick is a little bit weird. At least to me, it's a little bit weird because people are like, well, why wouldn't you ask for a Mario or a 3D Mario? And I think the reason why is because based upon the time length of what we get between Mario games, that it would be cool to see a 3D Mario, but I think that we need to have other games stack up. Because just like with the Wii U, we basically got no new 3D Mario, and it was a long time until we got a new 3D Mario between Galaxy 2 and Odyssey. I would love to see a 3D Mario game come, but I think that we need a Mario adjacent game first. And what I mean by that is something like a Captain Toad 2, which is my top pick for that. Captain Toad 2, or something like a Mario Party, like a new Super Mario Party, for an example, like a new, not like Superstars that takes a lot of the old levels. If you want to, you could essentially go the Mario Kart route and come out with like a Super Mario Party Deluxe or Super Mario Party Ultimate and do like Smash Brothers and just bring in all the games. Like all the old mini games come back in as DLC over 2 years' time, like they're doing with Mario Kart. That could be something that they could do. I think that would be interesting to do because you could eventually just reimagine all of the old mini games again. But I would personally like to see a new Mario Party or Captain Toad game, something that has some interesting, real quick party-like mechanics. Like Captain Toad, you just play a level. It's like a couple minutes long. You grab the gems, you grab the star, and you go. So just something that's real quick, because if it's going to continue to be a portable, then it's something that I think needs to have a portable-like nature to be able to just grab it real quick and go and play when you're on the bus or something. So that's my pick. I know that people will probably be surprised because they're like, well, why wouldn't you pick a Mario Kart or something? Because we just got finished with the Mario Kart stuff. We got one more DLC wave, and then it's going to be a brand new Mario Kart. Or a brand new console, essentially. So I think it would be weird that by the end of 2023 we get the final wave, and then by the time we get into, let's just say it comes out by March 2024, for an example, that quickly we have a whole new Mario Kart. I think there's gonna be burnout from that. So I think it needs to take some time to settle down, and if the Switch 2 is backwards compatible, then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe can just continue over for yet another console generation. So anyways, I don't think it needs to be a right now thing, but it has been a while since we've had a brand new like Super Mario Party kind of game that is brand new and uses the Switch Joy-Cons to its advantage and stuff. So my next pick is something that I've been asking for a long time. I'm probably the only person that wants another game in this series, and that is Nintendo Land. I would love a Nintendo Land 2 that incorporates everything that the new Switch is about. Just like what they did with the Wii U, and they had it to where it used the tilt for the F-Zero game, and it used the screen for like a Luigi's Mansion kind of mini game where you could see everybody's position and you played the ghosts and stuff. And I'm not saying it has necessarily be like that, but if it does use the app that we talked about in the previous video about how it uses cell phone functionality, and it continues to be like what a 1-2 switch is, or even a Just Dance game, or these games that seem to have apps that connect back to the console to control in some ways, I think that would be a brilliant use of that technology, and they can continue this onward. Like, you can get a Kid Icarus game, you can get a Captain Toad game, you can get series that did not necessarily get the love that they got in the first Nintendo Land. And this could be something that I've also talked about, could be like Smash Brothers, and you could introduce third party. You could introduce a Castlevania mini game. I don't know what you would do with that, but you could. You could do a Mega Man, a Pac-Man. You could bring in all kinds of these little mini games as DLC to purchase that people can then go in and enjoy these games. Or if you really want to tweak it and make it really cool, it almost becomes like a little Big Planet kind of situation at this point. It can become your next Mario Maker. You can create your own theme park that people come and visit. And just like with the Captain Toad game that I forgot to mention, it should also have online multiplayer that you can just jump in and go to somebody's theme park and play some kind of explore the park, because they have it. Because all the games would be the same, of course. They gotta be Nintendo approved. I don't think that anybody could just go and make a mini game, but I'm just saying that they could build the park their way and play stuff wherever they want, and put these, because maybe somebody has a Pac-Man game that somebody else doesn't have, so somebody who wants to play that can then jump into their theme park and play it. So I'm just saying that there's all kinds of interesting options with that, but that's just me. I'm probably the only one that actually wants a Nintendo Land 2. Number 3 is the long-rumored 3D Donkey Kong game that we're getting. Whether it is a third-person kind of Banjo-Kazooie-like game, which I imagine is most likely what it's going to be like, is like a Donkey Kong 64 or Banjo-Kazooie-esque kind of game, or whether it's a completely reimagined game like an Odyssey was to Mario, I don't know. But I do want to see another Donkey Kong game, because the only game that we got on the Switch was a port of Tropical Freeze. So technically this entire console generation, because I already own Tropical Freeze on the Wii U, I haven't enjoyed a new Donkey Kong game. So I think it'd be nice, whether it's in the same style as Tropical Freeze, or if it's a brand new reimagining of like what Donkey Kong 64 is trying to do. I really do think that they need to have a new 3D Donkey Kong game, or just a new Donkey Kong game in general. I think that would be pretty nice. And while I think that backwards compatibility solves a lot of the problems that they would have with, like, well, do we bring in a racing game? Do we bring in a fighting game? Because you could essentially have an ARMS 2, but I don't think that would go over as well. So the next game that I would want to see, and the final pick for this video, is going to be one that I have to throw a caveat in there for. I have to basically say this also has to happen, because it hasn't happened yet, and it makes the most sense for it to be the follow-up. And that is finally giving us Metroid Prime 4. Finally giving us Metroid Prime 4. And that caveat is we also would have to do like what we did with Pikmin when we got Pikmin 4, and they said, hey, here's 1 and 2 also on the eShop. We have to have 2 and 3. We have to have Metroid Prime 2, Metroid Prime 3. And whether that means that you want to bring in the Wii as part of the Virtual Console, or the NSO, whatever it is you're going to end up calling it, and because you brought in GameCube and Wii, you can essentially say here's Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3, or you can throw in the trilogy and just say, hey, here's the whole trilogy on the Wii, and just play it. It needs to happen, because like I've talked about before, one of the biggest things to help people get into a game is to play the previous games in the series. I talked about this in Dread, about how it would have been great if they had Metroid Prime 1, Metroid 1, 2, Super Metroid, which is 3, and Fusion, which is 4, all in there for when Metroid 5, Dread, came out. So I'm getting my games confused because I'm talking about Prime and thinking about the original, even though it's the same series. But I personally think that we need to have either a remake or some kind of a launch for 2 and 3 first, because I don't think there's anybody that's going to want to jump into the game unless we did like Dread and we have a recap of the previous games. That's really, outside of me, because I know the games in the order that they come in, and I understand the story. We need to have something for those people that maybe are getting the Metroid Prime 4 for the first time. So I think they need to have some kind of either they could easily have a prologue that just explains what happens in the previous games, and now you're all caught up, let's begin. Or for those people that do want to experience the games again, having that backwards compatibility for Metroid Prime 1 remake, and then saying here's Metroid Prime 2 and 3 in the eShop. There you go. You've now got all the Metroid Prime games for people to play. They can pick up 4 and they can play it. But those are just my picks. I've gone over the time limit that I allotted myself, so I don't know if I'm going to throw any more picks out there, but I do want to hear what you guys had to think, because there's probably some game that I missed somewhere in the recesses of my brain that's probably going to remember after I release this video, like, oh, I really should have mentioned that. But what do you guys think should be a launch game for the Switch 2 whenever it comes out? Because I'm sure that my picks are not going to be the ideal ones that everybody's going to want to see. They're just ones I think that work for me, because then you got a whole entire thing of different variety. But that's my picks, guys. Have yourself a good one, and I'll see you next time.